Hi there, muffins. It's Cherie. I'm currently sick and I whipped up this batch of my homemade chicken noodle soup, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to film it for you so you too can share in this goodness. This is considered 0 smart points, at least in my eyes. It's also simply filling if you want to add some whole wheat pasta. My husband's doing keto, so I do pasta on the side and then add it in if I want to, but honestly I don't miss it, so I usually just use this base recipe and serve it up to my whole fam, and it really makes you feel better when you got the plague. So let's jump into the video and see how I make this pot of a hug and a bowl delight. So first you're going to need some celery. I keep mine cut up in the freezer because I always need it to have on hand. Carrots, onion, chicken breasts. You need broth. This is my homemade broth that I freeze. I prefer it, but you can use store-bought pepper, some olive oil, and some salt. So you're gonna need a big pot because we're making big pot things. You're gonna put all your veg in there. So I use about 1 whole onion, probably 3 or 4 carrots, depending on their size, and then maybe 2 stalks of celery. Again, these are approximate and it doesn't have to be exact. You can also split this in half and make less, which is what I did yesterday, but my husband ate the whole pot, so I decided to make a big batch today. So I just put all the veg into my pot, one on top of the other, you know, like you do. There's that frozen celery. I love to have it in the freezer. Then I just drizzle on about 1 tablespoon of olive oil. So technically this is points, but I mean, I feel like if you're having 1 cup of soup, like the amount of oil you're getting is just like, I mean, I guess you can count it for 1 if you want, but I'm a rebel, so I count it as 0. And then I do 2 teaspoons of salt. You can do less or more. This is just sea salt, your preference. Then I shake on a generous amount of pepper. Pepper and onions are great for clearing up your schnoz. It makes the soup really taste good, but if you don't like pepper, you can omit or just not put as much, but I like to put as much decongesting power behind this as I can. I give it a quick little stir and then put my lid on and let it simmer down till the veggies are almost completely squishy. That's a technical term. Okay, so they're almost completely squishy. We got a roll and roll here. Another reason I like to use frozen celery is because it puts a little water in as it melts, which means you need less oil. So I'm all about that life. And then I just put my chicken breasts in there. So I just place them around, you know, fit 4 in there. Again, if you're doing half of a serving, just do 2 chicken breasts. Again, just however much chicken you want. This is totally optional. This is a very forgiving recipe. So I just sort of squish them down in there so they're touching the heat as much as possible. And then again, put the lid on for about 10 or 15 minutes. And then I take off the lid and then I flip them. You don't have to do this step. You can just let them sit, but I feel like they cook faster if you flip them like 10 or 15 minutes after you put them in. It's just sort of steaming the chicken so that you can shred it easily later. And I'm all about being lazy and easy life. So I just give them a flip, squish them down in there, make sure they're in the juices and on the heat, and then back with the lid. 10 minutes later, I open the lid. So now I'm going to add a very generous serving of minced garlic. Garlic is amazing for your schnoz and for immunity when you're sick. So I put an obnoxious amount. You can put as much as you want. I would say that's probably 2 tablespoons of minced garlic, but you do you. I feel like you can never have too much garlic. So just put the lid back on, let it finish. Boop, the chicken's done. So now I'm just gonna pull this out. I didn't film it because oh no, wait, nope, you're right. We put the chicken broth in. So I go ahead and put in my chicken broth. Mine's half frozen because I keep it in the freezer. I'm gonna guess this is about 4 cups of broth. So if you're doing this at home with store-bought, I would say 1 container of fat-free broth. If you're doing a half serving, and if you're doing a big one like me, do 2. I feel like it's not as flavorful when you buy it from the store, so you might want to add a couple bouillon cubes just to get that really chickeny flavor, or maybe boil your chicken longer. But homemade stock is like on another level, y'all, and it's super easy. So I have a video on that. If you guys go to my playlist, I highly suggest. All right, so here's where I had shredded the chicken. I just pull it out one at a time on a plate and shred it on the side and then put it back in. I didn't film it because I only had one hand, and I mean, it's kind of self-explanatory. But yeah, so just 2 forks, do some shredding, and then I give it a good stir again. And I added in mushrooms. Again, this is optional. I just had some mushrooms that I really needed to get rid of in my fridge, so I just tossed those in. This is a great way to get rid of some vegetables. I also add a cup of water just to sort of thin it out and make it not as potent. Again, optional. At this point, I usually taste it, and if I feel like it's too strong, I add water. And if it's not strong enough, I don't. So it's up to your taste buds. And then I just put the lid on and we let it simmer for another 30 or 40 minutes. And here it is. It is simmering. It's done. And what I do is just put this on warm, and I just let it hang out all day on my oven, and it just gets better as the day goes on. So you can have it for lunch, you can have it for dinner. It's just super good for you, super good for the soul. I really believe that chicken soup makes you feel better. And when it's homemade, it's just like extra good. And like I said, you can add some pasta, just cook it on the side, or you can throw this in and just put the lid on for another 20 minutes. And you have some delicious, homemade, hearty, good for you, low point or 0 point chicken noodle soup. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!